All right, so we have to start our class. Good morning, class. Today's class, we are looking at the factors that compound vulnerability. Or we can say that factors that increase vulnerability. What is vulnerability? So we're looking at terminologies that are used in disaster management. We discussed what vulnerability is. I'm sure you were all able to explain what vulnerability is. When we're looking at vulnerability, we're looking at how exposed people are to disasters, how vulnerable they are to disasters. So we're looking at those factors that increases vulnerability, that makes people vulnerable to disasters. We're looking at this vulnerability. It is a combination of different things. You can say a combination of complex, dynamic, and interrelated enforcement or conditions. So there are several things that are involved in the term of vulnerability. It's a complex one. You can look at human influence, you can look at the environment as well, you can look at physical factors. So all the combination of all those causes or exposes people to a lot of hazards. So one of the factors that increases vulnerability is physical factors. Physical factors. On terms of physical, something that you can see, okay? So if I'm saying physical factor is one of the things that compound vulnerability, we're looking at designing of things. There's poor designing of buildings. If you're planning for land, so you plan unrelated one, unrelated land use planning. We can look at construction of things. So if you didn't construct, if your construction of things, we're looking at design, if the design is poor, that one can also be one of the factors that increases people's vulnerability. Imagine, maybe they say that the winds comes from the west. So if the winds comes from this side, your house needs to face the other side. So if you don't follow those procedures, you can say that you're making yourself vulnerable to disasters, natural disasters. I would like you to give me examples of physical factors that increases vulnerability to natural hazards. What are other physical factors that increases vulnerability? I gave you a classmate to go upset the observe. So what have you observed that you can categorize it into a physical factor that increases vulnerability? Something that you can see.
Having done treatment. Yes.
Okay. Another example of physical vulnerability. What if you consider transport infrastructures Can that be an example for physical vulnerability? So I need those kinds of examples. Are we okay?
Yes.
Do you understand the term vulnerability?
Yeah.
What about physical vulnerability? So I need examples under physical vulnerability. Poor designing. We can say transport infrastructures that are at risk due to climate change. Another factor is social factor. Social factor. So under social factor, we have poverty as one of the causes in social factor. We have poverty. We have social exclusion, social status, we have discrimination by gender. Discrimination by gender as one of the social factors that compound to vulnerability. We have disability and age. Disability and age. Disability and age. So those are examples of social factors. So I've mentioned poverty, I've mentioned disability and age, there's social exclusion, there's discrimination by gender, and the last one should be social status as something that compounds with vulnerability. So I want you to explain what do we mean when we're saying that poverty is a social factor that compounds people with vulnerability. What do we mean when we're saying poverty is one of the factors that increases vulnerability, to natural hazards? Because we can just say poverty. What are poverty? Yes. You can give an example. And what's your name? Suzanne? Are you Suzanne? Yes. Even in your assignment, you mentioned poverty. Right. Addition, can you
Like poverty. There is intolerance.
We are looking at factors that compound, that increases vulnerability.
Yeah.
When we're talking about vulnerability, we're looking at how exposed people are to natural hazards. We can say how exposed people are to hazards. Okay?
Yeah.
So we're saying that one of the factors that exposes people to hazards is social factor.
Yeah.
Under social factor, we're looking at poverty as something that exposes people to natural hazards. So I'm saying, can you just give an example on how poverty can be a social factor that increases vulnerability?
Like, poverty is the lack of basic needs. So when a person is lacking basic needs, he is in danger of several problems like disease, like malnutrition, so he cannot be able to
Okay, so thanks for trying. At least it was out of 5 of them. Yes, my friend at the back, in blue. Agree. Yes. Okay, so on cover, then you can say that, let's look at infrastructures. So compare someone who is living in poverty and with someone who is at least world infection. If these people are trying to construct buildings, this one who is living in poverty will construct maybe house using cheap materials, okay, compared to the one who have got money. So if maybe let's say that area is hit by floods or strong winds, okay, the house of this one who is living in poverty will be at risk because they have used cheap materials, okay? We can even look at that disease we are talking about, pandemics or epidemics. Compare those people who are rich and poor. So those who are rich, they'll be able to protect themselves from diseases compared to people who are living in poverty. I keep on giving an example of Kolin in Area 36. That area is congested. Why? Because people are searching for cheap houses. So it is also an area that is affected by Kolin. So when you're looking at poverty, you need to think of different examples. There's a lot derived in poverty. So another social factor, we said disability and age. And how is disability and age something that exposes people to hazards or to disasters?
Many of them across, so maybe I should explain one by one.
You can combine, you can explain on disability and age. You can start with disability and then age.
Okay. When someone is in a disability condition, he or she won't be able to maybe to learn away. Let's take for example, maybe the price come and then that house maybe has been wasting a minimum of clients in that particular area, which means that that particular person won't be able to learn away so that he can be able to go to a certain place. That's on disability. And the other thing is when someone is growing up, the same thing which his body maybe becomes somehow weak, so which means that he can be able to be brought to some of the diseases.
I think getting on age.
On age, I mean like when someone is growing up, he or she, his body becomes somehow weak. So which means that his immune system again also starts to decrease if he or she is not taking the nutrition. Would thereby being exposed or maybe being vulnerable to some of the diseases which he might be affected.
That is more explained. And we are moving to the third factor, which is psychological factor. Psychological factor is also one of the factors that increases vulnerability. So we're looking at psychological factor, we're looking at something to do with mental, okay? So let's, under this, you can include those people who are mentally disturbed. So it is the status of those people that can expose them to a lot of hazards. Think of a mad person. Can that person be able to learn if they are faced with a certain disaster? Let's say fire, let's say maybe floods, or the pandemics we are talking about. So sometimes psychological condition of a person can make him or her vulnerable to a lot of hazards. We're not only looking at a mad person, even someone who is stressed, who is depressed, that person is also vulnerable to a lot of hazards. Because if you're displaced, if you are stressed, you cannot do a lot of things. You can't think properly. So you expose yourself to a lot of hazards. So psychological factor is also one of the factors that allow you to vulnerability. Do you have a question on the psychological factor? Or maybe something to add? psychological factor. Okay, we are moving to economic factors that compound to vulnerability. Economic factors. When we're looking at economic in general, we are looking at business, demand and supply. We're looking at demand and supply, we're looking at business. So we're saying that economic factor is one of the factors. So we're looking at economic factor as a factor that compounds to vulnerability. On terms of economy in general, we're looking at business, demand and supply. Oh, we are looking at demand and supply. So how is economic factor the thing that contributes to vulnerability? How is economic factor a thing that contributes to people's vulnerability to hazards? Think of business, think of demand and supply, and then relate it to vulnerability. Vulnerability is how people are exposed to natural hazards. Not natural hazards, I just say to hazards. So in terms of hazards, there are a lot of things. Economic hazards, okay? Diseases, those are hazards. A hazard is something that puts people's life in danger. That's a hazard. So looking at economic factor as one of the things that increases people's vulnerability to hazards. Okay.
I can actually common business shortly. There's a high possibility that when you buy something online, you might not
So what could be the impact of not getting what you order? You lose everything, you lose your money, and then you're not be able to support your family. If you're doing that business to feed your family, you'll not be able to provide the basic needs to your family. Hence, your family will be in danger. You can even add more, saying that maybe you want to use that money for food, then you'll not be able to buy that food. The impact of that is that your family will live in harm, and then you'll suffer from malnutrition. Okay? So you can add more to that. What about if you're looking at demand and supply?
I think when the supply is low, demand is high. So when demand is high, the price is high. So it is hard for the people to have access to buy some products just because the price is too high.
Especially
For example, fuel. That's the fuel price was too high just because the supply was low and the demand was high.
Okay. So that's a nice example. So that is an economic factor. You can add a lot to economic factors.
Yes, let me just add on economic factors.
Yes.
It's the build of the economy, the way our country economy is doing. Because, for example, like the ADMA last year, almost the limited the whole employee staff because the economy is not provide stable. So since police are not making that enough progress so that they can pay the salary of the employees. So since those employees have been working in the immediate means, those people are prone to poverty, and since some of them have been so against that employment.
And another factor is environmental factor. So under environmental factor, there are causes of which one of the causes can be overconsumption of natural resources. Overconsumption of natural resources. We can even look at poor environmental management. Poor environmental management. We can talk of climate change under environmental factor. Climate change. We can talk of air pollution. Air pollution. Under air pollution, I will give an example of COVID-19. COVID-19 was high in areas like South Africa, South Asia, where there is a lot of industries that produces bad air, thereby polluting the air, causing air pollution. So it is mostly those people that were affected by COVID-19. So we can also look at climate change as one of the factors that compound vulnerability under environmental factors. We can talk of decline of risk regulation ecosystem services. Decline of risk regulation ecosystem services as a factor under environmental factor. Or in short, we can say that lack of strict rules and regulations to control our environment or to manage our ecosystem. So if we're not managing our system, there will be a lot of consequences to our environment. Hence, we put people into, we expose people to various hazards. What about overconsumption of natural resources? Let's look at our population. The population is high, and then we're not managing our environment, we're not managing our natural resources, we're using the same natural resources, and then we're not maybe replanting trees. So if we keep overusing our natural resources, we're going to face a lot of consequences. So we're exposing ourselves to a lot of hazards. We're exposing ourselves to floods, droughts, there are a lot of things, diseases that we're talking. So we need to manage our environment. We need to manage our natural resources. So that's under environmental factor. We can also, in addition to this environmental factor, we can look at degradation of the environment and inability to protect it. Degradation of the environment and our inability to protect it. So we need to protect our environment so that we should be able to use the natural resources. We can even include lack of leadership, initiative, or organizational structure. Lack of leadership, initiative, or organizational structure as also a factor that compounds vulnerability. Because if we have a government that is well structured, and let's say the Minister of Land and Environment is doing its work, we will not be exposed to vulnerability because they'll be able to make policies to protect these natural resources. So if we're lacking leadership and a proper organizational structure, we are also making ourselves vulnerable to a lot of hazards, not only natural hazards. Think of road constructions. They are trying to construct our roads, but then you hear that people are consuming because of money. That's lack of organizational structure and proper leadership. We talk of lack of limited access to political power and representation. Lack of access to political power and representation. So if we're in position, maybe you've been given a certain position to look after people, you need to use your power. Sometimes it's good to enforce things so that you should protect your people, so that you should not make people vulnerable to hazards. So if you're lacking this power, that means you're not managing power, you're putting your people into, you're exposing your people to a lot of hazards. They're making yourself vulnerable to a lot of hazards. There is also unequal participation in community affairs, unequal participation in political affairs. So if there is unequal participation, there will be disagreements. Hence, those disagreements will have a lot of impact on their lives. And they'll be vulnerable to a lot of hazards. So if we're in community affairs, any community activity, you need to participate as a community member. Let's say you're trying to construct a bridge. As a community member, you need to participate. You need to take part in community affairs so as to avoid a lot of hazards. There is weak or non-existent social support networks. Weak or non-existent social support services. So I will give examples of communities. In communities, there is village development committees, VDCs. So these are some of the networks that are there in our communities. There are a lot of networks, so I'll just use examples of these VDCs. These VDCs, they're there to report any matter to the DC office. So if this network is weak or it's not there, people in that community will be exposed to a lot of hazards. Let's say there is floods, and then this network is not there. And who is going to report this matter to the district commissioner office? So you need to have strong and existing networks in our communities. Another factor can be limited access to outside world. Limited access to outside world. When talking of outside world, we don't have to think about UK, what. Let's take a community. Like,
can that be on social media?
of course it can, to depend on how you experience. So let's take a community. Of course, we have the VDCs, they're there, but then they don't have connections to other people, maybe in towns, in cities. They just live in that community. That will also make them vulnerable to a lot of hazards, a lot of hazards. So you need to have connections to the outside world or outside the community. Or we can just take Malawi as a whole. If you don't have connections to outside countries, other countries, then we need to support each other. We need to get support. So we need to have these connections. Another factor can be heavy dependence on external support. Yes, we're talking of support from outside, okay? But then we don't have to depend on it heavily. We need to have our own power, our own things to depend on. Command not depending on everything from the outside world. I preach your neighbor, hey, I want to get what's a budget. Okay, that's bad. We don't have to depend on external support. We don't have to heavily depend on external support. Yes, we have to depend, but not that much. We need to do our own thing. We need to try as a country. We need to try so that we should reduce people's vulnerability to hazards. Other causes can be certain beliefs and customs. Beliefs and customs. Can be from our religions, they can be norms from the communities they are coming from. You think you're many that's go. Or you have other beliefs apart from this, maybe spiritual beliefs, okay? So those can also put ourselves into, we can expose ourselves to hazards. Even the food that we eat, a pregnant woman is not supposed to eat eggs. Is that true? The eggs are nutritious, but then because it's our belief. So, certain beliefs can expose ourselves to, hazards. Questions on the fact that confound vulnerability. Question or maybe something that I should clarify on.
Whenever beliefs and custom, casual,
I think you mentioned about casual. I said beliefs and beliefs and customs. So what's your question? What's your question again?
okay, maybe
Or maybe you want to add more.
no, just asking maybe one example board.
Madam, those confused because cultural beliefs and religious beliefs.
Okay. Is that so?
Casual religious practice.
Yeah, it can be that. It's not the same. If you put beliefs, because you're looking at factors, right? So you can add factors or you can just say kind of beliefs and religious customs. Because the term of fact and religious can be different. And last topic, we're going to look at ethical and cultural issues in working with disaster affected areas. Cultural, ethical and cultural issues in working with disaster affected areas. So as such, you're doing social work, you're doing social work for community development. Social work, you have, as social workers, you have ethics in social work. So you need to follow those ethics as a professional and also cultural issues. So as you're working with people in various communities, you have to put in mind that those people have got their own cultural beliefs, and at the same time, you as a professional person, you need to apply ethics in your profession. So what are these ethics and cultural issues that you face as you're working with disaster affected areas? as working with people who are affected by disasters. So one of the thing is kind of sensitivity. Kind of sensitivity. So as you'll be responding to disasters, you'll be called disaster respondents. So you need to be aware of the culture of people that you are working with, okay? You need to be aware of their culture. Why? Because you have to avoid offending the local communities. To avoid offending the local communities and causing further harm. To avoid offending the local communities and causing further harm. So at least before you start working with them, you have to know their culture. You have to know their culture. Imagine if you're sent to work in Mangosh. You know Mangosh is composed of a lot of Muslims. And to them, eating pork is an abomination. So at least you have to put that in mind to avoid some conflicts between you and the community. So you have to put in mind their cultural sensitivity. Cultures vary from community to community. So you have to make sure that you know their culture before you start working with them. We also have issues of privacy and confidentiality. So you'll be working with people, you'll be hearing a lot of stories. You have to be careful with sensitive information. You don't have to disclose that kind of information. This information can be about the individuals in the community, or it can be information about the community in general. So make sure you don't disclose such kind of information. Privacy and confidentiality. Imagine you are having a community meeting and then someone asks you to maybe ask for guidance from you or counseling. And then you start using that counseling session as an example in a community meeting and you even mention the name. Will that person be able to approach you again? So you have to know to keep information private. Know when to talk what. So as a professional, you need to give information privately and confidentiality. You have to know. Another issue is informed consent. Informed consent. So informed consent is all about obtaining information from individuals and communities. So before you start working with the community, you need to go there, meet the key members in the community, the GVH, the community member, key members in the community. Explain to them why you are in their community. They have to know the purpose of your visit in that community so that they should welcome it. What they go without knocking, you have to know before you enter into somebody's house. The same thing you have to apply when you enter into a community. When you come with a disaster responding program in the community, at least seek their consent first. You also be able to solve conflicts. You should be able to solve conflicts, conflict management skills. because you'll be working with different people, you'll be facing a lot of issues, so you should be able to manage conflicts. This conflict can be between you and the community members, or it can be between the community members themselves. So if you're there to respond to a certain disaster, or let's say floods, or a certain epidemic, you are a social worker. You're working for the lives of people. You are there to help people. Don't focus only on one thing. If you see that there is conflict, at least try to manage that conflict so that you should please the welfare of people in the community. Another issue is on gender equality. Gender equality. At least try to treat everyone equally, regardless of their sex, culture, beliefs. Everyone should be treated equally as you're working with, as you're responding to a certain hazard in the community. Put in mind the issue of gender equality. We have another one, which is protection of children. Protection of children. Remember, we talked of vulnerable people in the community, the aged, women, the disabled. So as you're working with people, as you're responding to a certain area that is affected by a hazard, you need to protect children as well. Keep in mind that children are the most vulnerable people in the community. So as you're working with them, make sure that children are safe, children are protected. And lastly, we can say you have to maintain the standard of professionalism. Maintain the standard of professionalism. What do I mean when saying maintaining the standard of professionalism? We are talking of the issues of relationships in a community, okay? Don't develop love relationship with them. You have to talk to them, yes, because you need to be open to them so that they should be able to open up to you. But then you need to maintain that standard of professionalism. Isakabe kuta wena kwatila kwanti zakarela mutimono. So you are a professional social worker, you need to maintain the standards as a professional. Also, this opportunity we are no, you have to be friendly with them. I gave you a class week last week, that was on vulnerability assessment. So I need reports from you on vulnerability. I ask you to go out there and assess how people are vulnerable to hazards. So I'll start with you, Sharon. Are you Sharon? Yes. I'll start with you. I need a report, just a report, not a written one, or a report. I'm sure you have submitted the written report. No. So I need a report, at least shares your experience as we are looking at how vulnerable people are as we are doing your risk assessment, vulnerability assessment in our various communities. How was your experience?
Okay. From the area I live is in yeah. So those people are vulnerable in this way, but this season of the rain season, they are at risk of losing their properties and lives because of that. Because that is so it's
The value.
so yeah, it's slow. Like everything, like a map of major some of their one, whereby they also have newborn and they are not there.
you've only assessed that.
And then the other thing is about the in the way of transportation of things, of goods. They don't have good transportation lines. The only road they rely on is a small bridge where people are supposed to stop this side for them to transport things going this way.
So what can be the impact of that?
People from this side, downside, they're not, people from the side, they're not have that access to doing things from down.
Samuel, what about the experience?
Of population.
Where do you?
Yeah, so they are just too crowded. So I think people living there, they are at risk of like easy transmission of diseases. The other thing is like the environment, the management of like waste. Yeah, you find really,
Land pollution?
yeah. Okay, you find really like the dead bars, they are just thrown away everywhere, like in the roads, the roads. And the city council, they took so much time to come and collect the waste that are thrown there. So I think people, they are at risk of like this kind of cholera, they are at risk of contracting this to that environment waste.
Okay.
My sector should only pay for services. So, in area for service, and with these rains, trees.
Trees,
Yes.
okay.
So with these rains, a lot of trees are falling down, which roads and also affecting what's called pipelines. Where in these 2 weeks, I've had situation floods and pipelines that were destroyed by the trees. Even right now, to get electricity, those big ones that block the road and for a lot of them. Yeah, so it's affecting people in different ways. Those who are doing businesses, let's say another business offices, and these are able to put hope in their neighbor, our business offices well, and they should put so they are police. That's just something. And to us, since I started most of new and I know those now, and some are just good institutional people. Or commercial people that into the community needs well, wasted a lot of money, when they reach, and now it's gone.
And
Yeah,
your name?
that's a good. So, fish, I did it in,
That was not a mistake, but a risk assessment.
yeah. So I did it in, somewhere there, downtown area in Park there. So because of
What's the-
heavy rains, yeah?
What's the name of the area?
Kasengere village. It is down area 25. Yeah, because of heavy rains, the bridge is broken, so people they are not able to travel from Kasengere there and went to Namumba. Yeah, to solve their goods.
So, okay,
Yeah,
but then I think the assignment was that you should do a risk assessment. But then you have just said that the bridge is broken. What has caused the bridge to drop?
heavy rains.
Why is the bridge broken? Maybe they have constructed it using some cheap materials.
Yeah.
So constructing a bridge using cheap materials is one of a thing that put people at risk. Why? Because people living, the bridge is broken, and then people cannot be able to pass from one area to another. They can't transport goods. So you're supposed to be like that. The basic military okay?
Yeah.
What's the outcome? And
Yeah.
you were able to buy numbers because you're not sleeping under mosquito net. That's hence mosquitoes will bite you. The end result is that you're going to suffer from diabetes. So we're doing a risk assessment, something that is putting people.
So it's like at first the video was in good condition. So because of the heavy rain, so it was broken.
Kuna bridge ina sana pange collapse.
Yeah.
There is the use of standard materials.
Yes. So kama risk assessment, umeenda kwa ile kama ni sawa kwa sababu msingi wa roho tunalika okay. Kuna kama ni kama sana msingi fanya kuna ya na kama msingi na sisi fanya okay. So that's an assessment. So the first thing you report in steps. Msingi wao kuna mtaji kuzosta kimbalesi. Kuna bila reference paduka. Then kumali I think it's just it's putting people at risk. Yes, my friend, that so I need to do what I should in here. Why did you ask from your friends? Why did you ask from your friends? Mama say, unaona challenge. So next week you have to report. You have to assess and give me a report. A written one, you submit, and then you share your experience.
Okay, madam,
Yes.
obviously, okay, let me put the word. What's about that's from woman. Because maybe Nagasi said no, that's it, the way that thing is going up. And then you forecast the impact. Okay, mine is that the assess the report is that in Italy, the people are building houses. They are not built using the bricks which are not built. So with this time of rainy season, those people are somehow vulnerable today. With this time of rainy season, those kind of bricks, like Mina, Mango,
Like dissolving.
yeah. So which means that those people are vulnerable to the houses being falling down in the air because some of the people they will die and even some of the houses which they have. Mama, Papa, you're saying good to know what you do. Okay, what you're saying to left government, saying good to know the way if that kind of risk was done, like
No, according to you, the thing that is making people vulnerable is because they are building their houses using bricks that are not paid. Okay? That thing is putting people at vulnerable. Why? Because it easily dissolved and the house will collapse. Do you understand how I explain?
Yeah,
You assess the situation.
all right.
So I'm sure according to what you have reported, you'll be able to do a community awareness. People, you let people know that they are at risk. Okay? So I'll ask for a letter from the team so that when you should seek person face, you have talked with the ethics. You should go and seek person face before you do the community awareness in your mission. Various communities. People should be aware that they are at risk. Or maybe we can just choose one community and go together. Just for experience, we should do a community awareness. So I understand that your passion area, or you say a community that is under this school is citizen, of course, when we are in a social way. So maybe we can just ask for the same community, just to practice community awareness. Just to be aware that they are violent. Before we close the class, maybe you have questions or something to add. Yes, you,
Who else?
yeah, that's a good question, because that's the black people normally face in the Friday. So it will be up to you, if you want to meet Friday, we can meet next week.
Let's create something.
So we need to meet. Yes.
I want to complain.
Like what?
For example, you gave us an assignment whereby you asked us to do 7 pages, and then you gave us an assessment. And the due date of an assignment is almost 2 days to do. Yeah, and you would the means of trying assessment, you get management the same region of person. Then you it's like we have a lot of things to do. It's not only this person so one of the that's trying to work over that.
That would be see that. Another,
About the ethics and cultural issues within the areas. Are these the old ones or?
no, we have a lot of,
Yeah.
yes, ethics. So if you come across them, you can share with your friends.
But then,
No, they are not. So if you don't have.
Madam,
Yes,
alikuja jina la sawa Peter.
yeah. I don't know what they are going to do.
see that
It's not. So you can say.
Yeah, we have questions.